for Budget and National Planning, Hajia Zainab Ahmed, at the town hall meeting here in Kaduna, the Kaduna State Capital.
Distinguished Speaker, Senators, members of the House of Reps, my colleagues senators, our royal fathers, members of the Kaduna State Executive Council, let me ask you to please permit me to adopt what Mr. Lai Mohammed has adopted as the protocol that has already been properly laid. Good morning. The Ministry of Budget and National Planning has the responsibility of developing long-term, medium-term, and short-term plans for the country. And one of these plans is a budget. The budget itself is a planning instrument. I'm sure it is not news anymore that we have been working on the budget since November 2015, and that the budget was signed into law on Friday last week by Mr. President. Even though we were working on the budget, we were still at the same time working on a medium-term development plan. So we have a 4-year plan for 2016 to 2020 that is being worked on, and we hope by the end of this month that will be released. We also have been working at the same time on key strategic priorities that government needs to concentrate on delivering to meet its mandate to the Nigerian people. The 2016 budget itself was deliberately made to be an expansionary fiscal policy document. Even though the budget has a significant increase in fiscal in a deficit, the aggregate budget of 6.06 trillion is in itself 29% made up of capital expenditure. The recurrent expenditure in the budget is 2.2 trillion. We have a debt service obligation that is provided for in the sum of 1.4 trillion. The fiscal deposit of 2.2 trillion will be largely financed by foreign and domestic borrowing. And let me state here that there will be deliberate effort to make sure that all the borrowing is applied to capital projects that are growth-enhancing projects. There is a specific provision of $500 billion naira for social intervention programs. Some of the programs have already been mentioned by Alhaji Lai Mohammed. In designing this budget, we planned a crude oil price of $38 per barrel. And we know that there's a lot of pessimism about the very ambitious revenue projections in the budget, but we're still very much optimistic that these revenue targets will be met. I'm sure later in this program, the Minister of Petroleum Resources, Minister of State Petroleum Resources will be telling us about the increase of the crude oil price. This week, the Nigerian crude oil price is already at $46 per barrel. So we think that this target will be largely achieved. We also have put in place several measures to ensure cost efficiency in management of all classes of revenue. The single treasury account is one of these classes of expenditure. We also have, we have a new efficiency unit that scrutinizes government expenditure to make sure that there are no wastages. We have a very robust implementation plan that seeks to interact with MDAs on a monthly basis to find out developmental projects, capital projects that they need resources to implement, and we release the resources only based on assurance that the projects will actually be undertaken. That means we are moving away from giving funds on a quarterly basis for capital projects to verifying what is required and releasing funds on a project-by-project basis. The 2016 budget itself was prepared using the zero-based budgeting process. I must say we had a lot of challenges with that, but we remain resolute that this is one very good way to attain cost efficiency in the management of our resources. So we're putting everything that we can, all efforts that we can, to make sure that the teething problems with the ZBB are addressed, and going forward that we are able to harness the full benefit of this form of budgeting. Last week, or maybe about 10 days ago, the Federal Executive Council approved 34 priority projects and programs that government has made commitment to deliver in 6 specific sectors. I will take a few of them because some of my colleagues that are here will speak to some of the areas as it concerns their MDAs, but specifically the sectors were divided into 6. And the first sector, policy and governance, had 9 key actions that need to be taken. One of these actions is to ensure that we achieve as a country a foreign exchange regime that is stable and predictable by the end of the next 12 months. We also have a target to make sure, with the CBN leading, that there is a low interest rate, a single digit interest rate for lending to the productive sector of the economy. We hope also to intensify the implementation of the public financial management reforms which are taking place in various MDAs to grow the revenues and to cut wastages. We seek also to continue to sustain the fight against insurgency and kidnapping, and to ensure that corruption is fought using compliance to law and order. The Nigerian economy has been a monolithic economy for a very long time. This administration seeks to diversify the economy with special concentration on agriculture and mining. The Ministry of Agriculture is leading a process to ensure that we attain self-sufficiency in the production of rice, tomato paste, wheat, and some other produce. And this is a program that will see us becoming self-sufficiency in rice by the year 2018. Already in this year, we have been able to achieve self-sufficiency in tomato paste production. There is also a priority program to revitalize and expand agro-allied processing to intensify local production and processing of crops like cassava, cocoa, cashew nuts, and sesame seed. There is a program to ensure the utilization of up to 5,000 hectares of irrigable land in the 12 river basin development authorities. There is a dam that is called the Dadinkowa Dam. There's also the Gurara Dam, phase 1, and the Oyan dams with capacity to contribute about 82.5 megawatts to the national grid. And these lands will contribute greatly to the irrigation projects that are required for us to be able to achieve the targets of self-sufficiency in some of the agricultural produce. I want to leave any indication on mining because the Minister of Solid Minerals is here, but I want to state that there is a roadmap that has been developed for implementation to increase private sector investment in tourism and in entertainment as well as in sports. And this roadmap is already under implementation and it will be fully rolled out in the next 12 months. The third sector we have put concentration on is, of course, power, rail, roads, and housing. The Ministry of Power has the mandate to ensure that the 7,000 megawatts installed capacity that is currently available in the country is fully optimized and put to use. And And this will be done by ensuring that there is enough gas that is provided to the stations and that TCN becomes more effective in its transmission capacities. The social intervention program is a very, very important one. I'm glad the Minister of Information has already mentioned it. There's also the ease of doing business that has made the Ministry of Trade and Investment made a commitment to move Nigeria 20 places up in the ease of doing business so that visa processes are tracked in our country, that the registrations for business approvals are made expedient so that we can attract more foreign direct investments into our country. Finally, I want to state that the health sector has a target to deliver 5,000 primary healthcare institutions in 5,000 wards in the next 12 years. This is important because the delivery of affordable care services to Nigerians is a major commitment that was made during the campaigns. All of these programs and projects will be closely monitored, will be tracked and reported on a quarterly basis to the Federal Executive Council. There will be measurements and scorecards that will be issued, so each minister will have a report that shows how his ministry is performing in the specific priority areas that have been assigned to them. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister of Budget and National Planning. Before I call on the next Honorable